God, ladies and gentlemen, welcome fucking back. We have been on a, 2, maybe 3-month hiatus
I think it's
from
been
recording?
3 months. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We've had to delay it, yeah.
3-month recording hiatus, but now the beautiful, wonderful, lovely, talented Lindsay is back from being a businesswoman in business land.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go be a businesswoman in business land in 2 different states, and they both happen to be the shittiest states in the country.
Which state was shittier?
Wait, should we
Texas,
disclose
and
that?
that's saying a lot.
What about our
Because
fans
I was
from
in Florida.
Texas?
Texas is anti-California, in which case our fans in Texas can go right ahead and fuck themselves.
Damn.
Unless they live in Austin. I want to
Unless
go
they
visit
live in
Austin.
Austin.
Yeah, Austin's pretty cool.
Swing your state to blue, and then you can unfuck yourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in Florida in May, and then I had to spend 3 weeks in Texas for a business trip.
I actually woke up at 4 a.m. this morning to drive my girlfriend to the airport, and she's currently in Florida eating alligator.
Ah, dude, that sounds amazing.
I hear it is strikingly similar to chicken, and she can attest it's very chewy chicken.
What state? What city is she visiting?
Oh, fuck if I know. I'm just assuming she's somewhere in the skunk ape infested Everglades. That's my guess.
Okay, that's fair. She's got to do research for the podcast to support us.
Of course. She's very supportive. She's going to Germany after. Well, no, she's going to New York City to meet with her sister, and then to Germany, and then she'll be back.
Bro, tell her to take me to New York with her. I've always wanted to go.
You want to go to New York?
I would love to go to New York.
Do you want to go to New York specifically so you can say New York like in Hamilton?
No, I want to go to New York so I can say New York like that one in Alicia Keys song.
Okay.
No, in New York.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what
I
it
got
is.
you. I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah.
You're good. You didn't do it right the first time. But
I didn't do it right the
understood.
first
Don't
time.
worry
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
But yeah, once Meg gets back, then Lindsay, our friend Evan, Meg and I can return to Pandora to continue Lindsay's first playthrough of Borderlands 2, which I'm very excited about because I love that series of video games.
I still really need to get into it.
If you're going to get into any of them, just go right into 3.
Yeah?
Yeah, 2 has a better story than 3, like by far.
Uh-huh.
But the gunplay in 3, oh my God, is so much better.
Oh, I mean, it was made like 10 years after.
Oh, yes.
So.
It's very good, though.
Yeah.
I like 3.
Wait, does Adrian know anything about like the classes in Borderlands?
Very, very little.
We played maybe an hour of Borderlands 2 together.
Yeah, and then I got dizzy because like...
He couldn't figure out how to change the FOV because I don't think you knew that FOV
I didn't.
made you sick yet.
That was one of the first PC games that I got.
I remember we were playing Apex at one point. I was like, I raised my FOV to 110 and it's a fucking game changer. And you did that. And the next day you were like, wow, I'm not sick anymore.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something that more people should know about.
Just go into your FOV, crank it as high as you can, and work down. Don't work low to up, work high to low.
Which, by the way, have I let you play Apex on my ultra wide monitor?
No, but that sounds hilarious.
FOV is like cranked all the way up. You could literally see 360 degrees.
Lindsay and I play a game called Guild Wars 2, which I've talked about on the show before. And I have this issue in Guild Wars where I have a fairly large monitor. I went for 144 hertz instead of anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But my monitor is fairly large. I believe it's a 27-inch monitor. And there's a constant thing in Guild Wars 2 where when you're standing in like an AoE that's going to hurt you or affect you in some way, one of the things is you have the visual cue of it obviously being on the floor, an audio cue typically, but then a second visual cue where it puts a yellow vignette around the screen. You know what I'm talking about, right, Lindsay? Like when you're standing in the blues on like Veil Guardian.
The teleports, yeah.
Yeah. I cannot see that vignette anymore.
Most people with small monitors don't even realize that that's happening.
I used to use that vignette every fucking time, and ever since I upgraded that monitor, now I listen desperately for the audio cue.
I will say though, Guild Wars 2 is really good about making good audio cues, more than any other game that I've played.
Yes.
And I say that specifically to also diss the audio in Apex.
Oh, you mean Apex, Where Were Their Footsteps Legends? Is that the one we're talking about?
Apex, I am currently getting fisted by someone I did not know was behind me at full sprint. Legends.
Also, Lindsay, a little invasion of your privacy here. When you play Apex, which is always, when you're playing Control, Steam tells me that you're playing Control and shows me the score that's like being updated in real time. There are so many games of Control I've seen you play where it's like you're 30% up and then suddenly the other team just fucking wins.
Well, okay, so so Apex has done Control 3 times, right?
Mhm.
The original, which was good time.
Yeah.
The second one, which was better because like the first time they came out, there was no penalty for leaving, and people would just drastically leave at all times. The moment you started losing by 0.1%, half your team left. So they instilled the leaver penalty for the second game, where it's like you only get the penalty if the lobby starts uneven.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's often.
Yeah.
It's usually like one person is missing on a team, but you can still win.
It's one of those things where it's like,
This
I'd
time
rather wait
around-
longer, you know?
Yeah.
Just give me a longer queue time. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Just put
Well,
me in a
I
good
think
game.
it's probably a crashing thing, to be honest with you.
that
Like
makes sense,
someone's
yeah.
not loading in, so it's 17 out of 18 players, which is fine. Like I've won undermanned. The issue this time around was that I can count on one hand how many times I got into an even skilled game, because there's like no matchmaking. I'm getting rolled by 3 predators in a control match with a team of literally 6 new players. What? The game would end in like 2 seconds.
You see
Wait.
that level 21 kill scorecard and you're like, fuck me,
Wait,
man.
did they
Yeah,
get rid of
it's-
skill-based matchmaking?
No, they just
I haven't
made
played
it,
Apex in like 2 years.
So they just made it dog shit.
Oh, okay.
They like reworked
For
the
pub matches,
algorithm.
at least.
Yeah, they
Got
reworked the
it.
algorithm for pug matches, and it's just not good. It's basically like they don't have it. Actually,
Mhm.
that's a fucking lie. They do have it. It's just that it's like you were always on the shitty side.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Although they reworked ranked and how it works, and I didn't play last split because Storm Point's a terrible map and I hate it.
That's true.
But the new split is now in World's Edge, and I'm like, all right, cool, this will be fine. They basically made it so that instead of there being literally, I think last season, you could rat to Masters,
Yeah.
and there were like people who are normally top 10 pred could not get Predator because they would have 45,000 ranked points and still not be Predator.
Jesus.
When normally it's like 20k.
I remember seeing a graph after that season that was like 40% of all ranked players were in Diamond by the end of the season. It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, so they made it a lot more accurate for your skill.
That's good.
And it's changed the pace so that like instead of aping or ratting in a corner, you have to have a balance of both, and you have to play strategically.
Reject
And since
ape,
I didn't
reject
play last split, I am not accurate. I am not a bronze. But the system thinks I am.
I don't know,
So
Lindsay.
I am
That's
solo
pretty,
queuing.
that's pretty bronze energy you're giving off.
I
right
am
now.
solo queuing, and when I don't get rookie players and bronze players who have no concept of ranked play, we get an easy win basically, and I'm already almost back to gold. But it's just I didn't realize they took the cap off to help people stop from smurfing. So like, you know how if you were in a bronze lobby that you absolutely shit on, even if you got max kills in first place, it was like hard stopped at like 2 something or 250 or like just under 300 rank points.
Yeah.
I did that last week. I got 551 rank points and like instantly went up another rank, because they don't want you to shit on people that are significantly worse than you and then
that's
not
smart.
get out of that bracket.
I can get down with that. I like
Yeah,
that.
I'm super down with that because I want to get back to gold lobbies at least, because these bronze lobbies are painful.
Also, quick aside from that, but still video game related. Lindsay, are you familiar with the YouTuber or streamers Jessie Cox or Dodger, also known as Dex
Yes.
Bonus?
Oh, I used to watch Dodger when she was like brand new.
Okay, yeah, so you know, both of them been around fucking forever.
I love
since,
her.
like, the
She's
beginning.
great. I got
she's
to meet her in
fantastic.
person once.
That's awesome. I have too, actually. That's really great.
She's wonderful.
I feel so left out right now.
Well, fuck you, because this is a story for Lindsay.
Sure.
So her and Jessie Cox, really great friends. They've played a bunch of games together. Right now they're playing through We Were Here Forever, which is one of those escape room games, which looks phenomenal. We should play it, Lindsay.
We should.
But what's very funny to me about it is I've been watching them kind of more listening into the background, and I was like, holy shit, the dynamic that Dodger and Jessie have is exactly our dynamic when we play video games.
I'm not. Yeah, no, it's true. That's accurate. That's actually really accurate. I watch her coffee time streams all the time because she's in the UK now. So
yes, with
she's
her,
a few hours ahead.
Yeah, with her husband and young child, who apparently, according to her in one of the episodes, is the most posh person she's ever met.
That's so cute.
I forget exactly what it was, but she was like, "It's so weird to hear my young daughter, when something is inconvenience, go, 'Oh dear, mummy.'" That's very funny to me. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, finally, to another episode of Crack Open Cryptid. These do not crack very well.
No?
Adrian, let me hear yours.
Hang on. Okay, you know what I was doing?
Because he didn't open it, he just fucking dropped it.
Hold on, I'm remembering to turn off my noise suppression and to turn up my sensitivity. Hold on.
Hang on.
So we can get maximum crackage here.
Adrian, get in there. Adrian,
3,
get in there.
2, 1.
Oh, much
that
better.
was much better. That was significantly better.
Yeah.
Also, I have like no nails right now, so I have to start cracking this with the knife.
It's all good. All right, so Tyler, so you didn't see. Oh,
Ooh.
my bad.
Oh, wait.
Hold on.
And that was pretty weak.
That was a very deep toned crack.
Yeah,
that reminded me of the
weird.
Pepsi Nitro.
Yeah. So I wasn't trying to open it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized I was doing this.
What
Well, you guys can't hear. I was trying to
you're on
open
the
it
wrong
the opposite.
side?
Yeah, the
Were
wrong
you just trying
side.
to open it like a goddamn Capri Sun?
Yeah.
You're an idiot. You're gonna like cut your finger.
I know. Well, I mean,
dumbass. Are you bleeding?
Slightly.
Oh my god.
What are you guys drinking?
So today we're drinking, as of time of recording, I believe these are new. You know, Simply Lemonade.
Yeah.
They make hard ones now.
Really?
They do, and
Since when?
Since like a few weeks ago, as of time recording.
Huh.
We are both drinking the watermelon lemonade, and it is lovely.
Yeah, I was about to say this is.
I
actually
might have to get that next time.
This is delightful.
I heavily suggest, and in the next episode, I will hand one over to Adrian. I heavily suggest my favorite one being the blueberry lemonade one.
Ooh. I had when I was in Texas. I will say this: I had an amazing blueberry cocktail that was like fresh blueberries in it too, which you always know that's the good shit. So all right, I'll have to look into the next thing because I'm having the truly margarita styles, and I've slowly worked through them because I don't like them that much.
Oh, what's your opinion on the mango chili? I see that's the one you're drinking.
Not as good. It's probably the least. I like this one the best out of the pack. I will say that. I was really hoping to like the kiwi watermelon because I love kiwi and I love watermelon and I love them together and it tastes like actual butthole. So
there's also the strawberry hibiscus one, which would be good if they didn't put flour into it.
Question:
that was not bad though.
The butthole taste, is that a positive or a negative?
Oh, good point.
It's a negative in this case.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Lindsay does not eat ass. Lindsay does not eat ass.
My drink though for the next episode, spoiler alert, is the non-margarita version of Mango Truly, which I do quite like.
I'm going to really enjoy the comparison side by side, to be totally honest with you.
Yes. It's just so much better as the OG, to be honest.
Ugh.
Now, I do want to get into the episode because we waste a lot of time on the show, which a lot of people told me is their favorite part of the show.
Really?
Which I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
It is for me.
I mean,
listening to the episodes before I was on the show, like, I love listening to the 20 to 30 minutes of bullshit that they're
just
talking
shooting
about.
the shit. Yeah, dude. Sometimes when I'm editing them, I'm like, "Holy fuck! How long have we been talking about nothing?" I look at the timeline and go, "Oh, I gotta cut some of that out."
Like, I mean, the one that last came out, you guys were fighting about whether Jeremy could take on penguins in kindergarten.
is that the one that just came out?
It's the flat Earth one that you led, and I'm so fucking mad still about that shit. I have a coworker who listens to this. I went in the other day. And he tells me, "Why does your friend think he can fight 1,000 penguins? Is he insane?" And I said, yes, Michael, who was listening to this likely. Michael, you were correct. Jeremy is fucking insane.
That's kind of his MO.
I know it is, but holy shit, it still pisses me off that he thinks he can do that. I still can't tell if he's fucking with me.
I feel like he would, however, if given the time and resources, figure out a way to most effectively murder 1,000 penguins.
I don't think Jeremy is Batman.
You guys are taking into consideration how hard it is to fight a horde of anything.
No, that's what I'm taking into consideration. You can put anything, and if there's 1,000 of them, I don't think you can win. Even if they're fucking ants, I think they might win. I think there's a non-zero chance.
Like, if they were aggro, Yeah,
Oh my god, right?
100%.
Can you imagine the strength of 1,000 ants? They'll just throw you right into the fucking ocean.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
fire ants fuck with you real strong.
No,
real
fire
bad.
ants you will actually lose. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
like that is a complete 100%. You
No,
will lose to them. They
we're
will
talking
destroy
about
you.
we're talking
I'm
about
talking
the
about,
little black
like,
ones,
little black
the
worker
ones that
ants.
like you see like when you leave food out.
Yeah, and you're like, fucking
Oh,
shit.
yeah,
I knew I should
sugar
have thrown
ants.
that away.
Well, I'm just saying, Jeremy, you had an opportunity when you were talking about this because, like, in the episode, you guys told me to DM him, and I did. Well, I didn't DM him. I put it in the Discord for everyone to see. He had a chance for me to side with him if he had realized they are flightless birds. Why don't you just figure out a way to get up a place where they cannot climb or fly?
Because he was in Antarctica, which that is their home turf. They know
Like,
where to,
all
how to
right,
get
like
everywhere.
we've all played Assassin's Creed. This
Yeah,
is
like
like
the Animus loading screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All right, yeah, no,
you know,
thanks,
it's funny that you mentioned that because that is exactly what I was thinking, but I couldn't
Yeah.
remember the term animus during that episode.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, what are we talking about today, Tyler?
So, before I tell you that, I want to do a preface for this topic because this is going to be this episode, definitely the next episode, potentially the episode after that as well. This is the furthest I've dug into a rabbit hole on the show. I'm not shitting you, 12 pages in front of me of research. I've been researching this the entire fucking time you've been on your trip, Lindsay. This is one of the most heinous, horrible group of events to happen in human history. The preface here is that we typically come onto the show with the idea of we're going to get a little blasted. We're going to talk about shit that isn't real, that only insane people believe, and we're going to laugh and make jokes.
Flat Earth is real.
Well, yeah, of course Flat Earth is real. We're laughing at the people who think it's round.
Look, the
The
Earth.
flirt?
Yeah, the flirt. The Earth is made up
Can
of
we call it
70.
that?
The Earth is made up of 75% uncarbonated water. Therefore,
It must be flat. He's right. He's got me there. It's
Can we start
uncarbonated.
calling it the Flirt Society?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
then really confuse people about what the word flirt means?
Well, I think flirt should specifically refer to our new group, which is the Earth is both flat and hollow.
yeah.
Yeah, but like we also need to incorporate the word flirt itself. Like we're fun and flirty, but we also believe in flirt.
Well, you know how the flat earthers believe in the firmament? We believe in the flirtament,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
the hollow part of the flat earth, obviously.
So are
as we all know.
we really like the charming versions of Flat Earth Society people then if we're flirty?
No, we're not charming.
Speak for yourself.
Why?
I'm incredibly charming.
But yeah, see, this is the dynamic we have on the show.
Uh-huh.
We make jokes, we laugh, we say these people are crazy. Everything I'm about to read to you is real. This isn't me being like, it's a conspiracy theory, but it's real. No, this is all declassified real information of actual historical events that happen, and they're fucked up.
Is this another aliens episode?
This has nothing to do with aliens. This has to do with the greatest monster of all. Man.
Yeah.
You like that? So, before we can really get into what I want to talk about, we need a history lesson. And I want to start this history lesson by asking you both a very personal question. This is now a gotcha journalism moment. Lindsay, I'll start with you. In your opinion, do you know what a Likert scale is? I believe it's called a Likert scale. That's the
I feel like I've heard the term liquor. You know what? I'm not going to continue that sentence. Continue.
Yeah? Yeah, because you saw where my brain was going. I believe, and I might have the term wrong, I believe a Likert scale is the scale where it's strongly agree, slightly agree, neutral,
okay.
slightly disagree.
Oh, yeah,
strongly
yeah,
disagree.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I want you to use this scale, both of you, for the question I'm about to ask. Lindsay, I'll start with you. Nazis. Agree or disagree? You like them?
Are we like agreeing to punch them or agreeing that we like them?
Like, do you like Nazis?
Do you agree
Hard
with
disagree.
their? Yeah.
Yeah, so hard disagree.
Hard disagree.
You're not a fan of Nazis?
Correct.
Okay, interesting. Adrian, how do you feel about the Nazi Party of Germany? The former Nazi Party of Germany, and now they're neo-Nazis. Either one, really?
I'm gonna have to say strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree. You know, that's interesting. That is very interesting because, as we all know, the Nazis played a big role in the Second World War. You see, during World War II, the Allied forces and the Axis were in a constant power struggle to find the new best way to kill each other. Adrian, I'm going to return to you. Can you name the Axis powers of World War II? This is me just fucking with you now, by the way.
The Axis. Fuck. All right, hang on. So, history was my worst class.
That's why I went to you. You have a gimme because we talked about them already.
I know. So based off of what I remember playing Call of Duty throughout my,
He's honestly on a good path, yeah.
Yeah. I think the Axis powers, are they the ones with Germany, or are they the ones with?
They are.
Are they the good? Like,
make him think it through.
Hang on.
Okay. Do you think the Allies or the Axis are the bad guys?
Oh, Allies.
Okay.
Allies are the good guys. Yeah.
Good.
So Axis. You know why? It's because I'm thinking Axis of Evil.
Well, they are evil.
Which is a good band.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right. So Germany, Japan,
Okay.
Italy.
Yes.
I'm missing one, aren't I?
Kind of.
Fuck, who was
Those
it?
are the three major world
Wasn't it?
powers.
Didn't so much switch sides?
Two
at
of
some
them
point?
did. Italy switched halfway, and one switched to the Axis power like right at the beginning. They were Axis.
All right.
Almost instantly, they were like, "Fuck it, we're allies."
Was it Russia?
It was Russia.
Yeah.
He's done it. Now, Lindsay, can you name the Allied powers?
Oh God, I know the Axis powers more than the other. So
That's weird.
England,
Mm-hmm.
France.
She got France. I'm impressed.
Mhm.
Yep.
America joined late,
But they were an ally. You are correct.
but they were an ally. There was no fourth one for them, was there?
There were a bunch of smaller countries.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
like
smaller.
wasn't a lot of other minor European countries at the time.
Yeah, because Poland probably wasn't with the
allies.
Axis. They probably helped the allies. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Mm.
And then because we did discuss it already, halfway through the war, Italy became an ally after they turned Mussolini into Swiss cheese, and that's not really a joke. They shot him so much that his body was unrecognizable.
Didn't they also like parade his body through the streets?
Oh yeah, in his underwear.
Yeah.
And by the end of the parade, he was literally, you couldn't even tell it was a human body.
Yeah.
They fucked him up, and he deserved it, little fucking fascist bitch.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
And then Russia, of course, joined the Allies pretty much immediately because they were like, "Hey, we'll help you, Germany," and Hitler was like, "I'm gonna invade Russia," and they were like, "What the fuck?" And so they switched sides. Now, I'm glad we are all on the same page about World War II now, because while the Allies had a lot of joint scientific research operating throughout the war, for now, I do want to focus on the Axis scientists who worked, for the most part, isolated from one another. Germany and Japan. Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, don't we have most of our modern day technology because we stole a bunch of Axis scientists? So it's still really that the Nazis are
Now,
made us all
Lindsay.
super smart.
Lindsay, I must recommend you don't read ahead. Because the two...
I didn't. I know this one.
It's kind of crazy, like, well, because like we both studied film. Almost every contribution to like the world, it seems like, comes from like the bad side.
Oh, the Nazis were busy.
Yeah.
Now, the what a lot of people forget, though, as well, is that the Japanese scientists were also quite busy. Now, we're going to refer to the Nazi scientists just as Nazi scientists because they didn't really have a unified name. But there was a specific group of Japanese scientists, also known as Special Japanese Unit 731. Have either of you heard of Special Japanese Unit 731?
Never.
No, I've only ever heard that like the scientific contributions from like Nazi Germans.
Now, that's because the Nazi Germans were, I hate to say it, pretty fucking good scientists. They wrote this shit down. They had a reason for most of their experimentation. They had hypotheses that they backed up with evidence. They did control tests. They were pretty damn good scientists. They knew what they were doing. Like you were saying earlier, almost everything we have today technologically can probably be tracked back to the Nazi scientists. Now,
You know what Reinhardt says in formerly I used to play Overwatch? German engineering. I don't know why I made him sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I was
for a
about to say,
second.
is your best German accent a shitty Austrian accent?
Apparently.
I always go to the gay German when I'm trying to do German accent. The und ja, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why. That's just like my immediate go-to. But let's talk about Special Japanese Unit 731, because we both, and pretty much everybody listening, know enough about the Nazi scientists for now. We will get back to them, but I want to talk about 731 because I feel like people don't really know about them.
Never heard of them.
This highly classified group of scientists were researching chemical and biological warfare to help Imperial Japan get ahead in the war. Their detachment conducted some of the most horrific and depraved studies known to man, and they were conducted, and I want to drive this point home, they were conducted on all ages of people, from infant to senior citizen.
Wait, are these the people that like discovered the whole thing? I mean, I don't know if you took this class in college, but like there were experiments on babies that like we learned a whole bunch about how like if they have no mothers, they will self-soothe. And like,
so that was not 731, because 731 was more into how easy is it to kill a baby.
oh,
Some of the horrific experiments that they did on humans were the forced injections of known diseases, including but not limited to the bubonic plague, cholera, typhoid, paratyphoid, smallpox, and many, many, many others. They would
I didn't know there was another kind of typhoid.
I also did not know that until I researched this. They also conducted controlled dehydration, starvation, and sleep deprivation, where they would specifically withhold any of these things from people and only administer them when they wanted to see basically what's going to happen. So they would make it so people literally couldn't sleep long enough, so their body just fucking died.
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. The one that fucks me up the most is the hypobaric chamber torture and execution. A hypobaric chamber is a chamber that is airtight, where they can increase the air pressure basically to whatever they want. So they would literally put someone in there, and for sake of argument here, let's say they put in, for example, one experiment, a 13-year-old boy in this chamber and raise the pressure to see what pressure a human being pops.
Oh.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, remember at the beginning when I said we talk about stuff that's like fun and goofy and weird? Yeah, this is all going to be fucked up.
Yeah, no, I can't find a joke to make about that.
Yeah, I probably should have brought more booze, to be honest, for this one.
Honestly, I will feel fucked up making jokes about anything we talk about to begin with, so I might as well just hard commit.
Before she hard commits, before she hard commits, she's not trying to insult. None of us are trying to insult any of the victims here. I want to be clear.
Yes, correct.
We're trying to be comedians. Go on.
Our viewers don't know what we were talking about.
They're all dead anyways.
Before we started recording that involved popping. I may have shown them a gif of a lady
popping a watermelon with her incredible thighs.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
so
then we talked about a scene from The Boys that involved doing that with a human head.
So those two women would have been very interested in the 731 experiments and vice versa.
Do you think they would have hired them to do their dick thigh popping prowess?
Oh my God, are you kidding? Absolutely not. They're not Japanese.
I mean, in that case, are they taking like, are they
is this like
taking
a sign-up basis?
Yeah.
Because as Adrian and I both said
I'm
to the
just
gif
saying,
of the
like,
woman crushing the watermelon between her thighs,
if I were to go any way, like violently, that's the way I would want to go.
all three of us agreed that we would like our heads to be popped like a watermelon in between that woman's thighs. Is that correct? Am I correct in saying that we would all be down with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool.
If I am terminally ill and I have a choice to die, I want that to happen.
Oh, just pop it like a fucking great. Now, that being said, we're going to move on to the next form of torture that they did, which was rape and forced pregnancies.
What the
great.
fuck?
Also followed by vivisection and amputation, frequently on living and non-sedated victims. So they would just cut a guy's arm off just to see how he'd react.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay.
Now, their experimentation was so goddamn evil that the human test subjects were not even referred to as humans. They were referred to as logs. This was also part of the cover-up that they were being sent to logs because it was a lumber mill, which it was not.
I'm thinking logs, like recording logs for
Yeah,
some
that's-
reason.
You see,
exactly
that's
what
the
I was
cute little
thinking.
double entendre that 731 pulled. Their experimentations were finally cut short in 1945 when the war ended. The men and women involved with Unit 731 were then captured by the Soviets, sentenced to prison or execution by the Khabarovsk war crime trials. I will never pronounce that word right. It is basically the same thing as the Nuremberg trials, but whereas the Nuremberg trials were like, hey, we're going to give you an actual trial. And you're obviously guilty, but we're going to give you the trial. The Khabarovsk, or I will never say it right. Russian is hard. It's that one right there. It starts with a KH. It's towards the top.
Khabarovsk.
All right, those ones were basically the Soviets were saying, like, we're going to give you a trial, but no matter what you say, we're going to fucking kill you. Which, honestly, for 731, good for you, Soviet
good
Russia.
riddance. Fuck you guys.
Now, next up, of course, was the Nazi Party and their scientists. While there are some infamous individuals from the group, such as Joseph Mengele, we're talking about the group as a whole right now, right? The Nazis were, get this right, not good people.
No.
I believe we all agreed with this in the beginning. Strongly disagree with the Nazi mindset. In fact, they were evil people, are evil people, and that's just a fact. There are no opinions here. Facts only. If you're a Nazi or agree with Nazis, you are an evil person. Just want to toss that out there because apparently some people need to hear it. Getting that out of the way, let's discuss some of the evil acts carried out by these scientists who were way, way heavily inspired by their heroes, the scientists of Unit 731.
Hang on, before we get into this heavy shit.
Oh, go on.
Tyler handed me this like can of Coke.
I forgot I brought that for you.
Why it looks so tiny?
Because it's a mini can. Have you heard of Coca-Cola Starlight?
No.
So Coca-Cola Starlight is a new limited run of Coca-Cola that is space flavored.
Yeah.
What does space taste like?
See, now you've touched on something that is one of the biggest pet peeves of mine, and beverage companies do this all the time. You see, what I'm drinking here is a simply spiked watermelon lemonade. It tells you that it is a watermelon flavored lemonade that has alcohol in it. Very straightforward. What the fuck does space taste like, Coke?
I'll tell you.
We're about to find out.
Oh, this will be a good one. Oh, dude, that is like edging right there.
Dude.
Holy shit.
Hang on. It's red.
It's red-ish.
It's red?
It's red-ish, yes, yeah.
Like the liquid itself is red?
It's like burgundy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hang on.
That was so cool.
I like how his pinky was out and everything.
Yeah, he's a classy individual.
Hang on. Let me get a second taste.
Yeah. That is clean audio. Can you do one more just a little bit longer for me?
Sure.
All right, no, I didn't want you to hit the bong. I wanted you to drink the soda. Now, I want you in detail, Adrian, to describe to me what space tastes like according to Coca-Cola.
We have a friend in another Discord that does sommelier descriptions of really trashy drinks. I need you to do that right now.
How are the legs?
So it tastes like a void where light doesn't really flow through it.
A black hole, perhaps.
Yeah.
But not quite?
Yeah, no, like you feel untethered when drinking this.
Would you consider it similar to the wishes of a dead god?
Yeah, very
okay.
apt description.
See,
Yeah. Anyway, so the Nazis.
No, but legitimately.
What does it taste like?
Yeah, legitimately, what does it taste like to you? Because everybody gives me a different example, but I have a very clear feeling of what it tastes like to me.
It doesn't taste like soda, I will say that.
That is a apt description. It is the least soda-y soda I've had.
No, yeah, it tastes more like... It tastes like a sparkling water.
Okay.
With like... Remember those, you know how you bought that, I can't think of the word right now.
He's just,
he's
motioning, stroking a large cock.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
A large penis?
No. You bought the thing that I wanted to like do it with milk and shit.
Oh, the soda stream.
Oh,
the soda stream, yeah. And you know how you bought like all these flavored like I don't know what they were called.
The Mios, yeah.
It tastes just like that.
Which Mio though? If you were to describe the flavor of it, what flavor most closely resembles it? And if you can't think of it, I can tell you what I think it resembles.
What is? I can't.
It is like
figure out the flavor.
It is like a carbonated caramel marshmallow treat to me.
Okay.
That actually sounds pretty good.
It is very sweet.
I quite like them.
Yeah,
The
no.
only Coke product I've had that wasn't just like straight up a soda was I had Coke Nitro or whatever, where they did like the coffee
Yeah.
drink with their soda for a while.
No, she's not talking about Pepsi Nitro, Adrian. She's
Oh.
talking about the Coke coffee mixtures,
Oh.
Yes.
which to me tastes like the penis of a dead god.
I didn't say it was very good. I said it was kind of like, it was almost like I want to say almost like a chocolatey Coke, and that's not a good combination to me.
Oh.
You want to know something insane? Meg fucking loves those.
No, I would drink it. If I had no other choice, I would drink it, but I didn't go back and buy more.
See, I hate coffee. So,
Oh.
like, they were never going to win me.
See,
over.
I really need to try it because usually me and Meg have very similar taste buds. I'm noticing.
It's very strange.
Yeah, so I
It's
definitely
probably
need to try it.
why I like kissing both of you so much.
Yeah. Sponsors Coke.
Dude,
You know who should sponsor us with the description of a soda stream that he just did? Have him do a commercial. You should buy that thing while he does a blow or hand job.
By the way,
maneuver.
if we, because I know that they sponsor a lot of podcasts. If Fleshlight ever sponsors
Oh my
us,
god, I would do so many ad reads for like adamandeve.com.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
no, like
I'll become
legitimately.
the sex addict on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
We could become Gilbert Gottfried reading 50 Shades of Grey.
rip, by the way.
Anyway, so the Nazis.
So the Nazis, of course, yeah, let's continue. The living conditions that we all know within concentration camps were specifically calculated by said scientists to keep their slaves, because that's what they were slaves, alive while simultaneously breaking their psyche at the lowest possible cost. Lethal injections actually can be traced back to either the Nazis or Unit 731. It's likely some information that they shared. If you don't know, by the way, regardless of your stance on the death penalty, it is a pretty hotly debated topic in America. One of the things about the death penalty is we have never found a particularly good way to administer the death penalty. The electric chair, botched a lot of times. Firing squads don't always kill. And lethal injection, while they are touted as the most humane way to kill a person, more often than not, the people who survive the lethal injections, which is not uncommon, describe the injection as feeling like molten lava replacing their blood. It is one of the most inhumane, painful ways to kill a person. I personally do not support the death penalty, specifically because we do not have a good way to do it. I do think there are people who deserve to fucking die. For example, anyone in Unit 731. But lethal injections are horrific as of the ones we have right now. And of course, either the Nazis or Unit 731 invented them. We're not sure which, but it sure was one of them. They also, of course, the Nazis developed the use of gas chambers. There were horrific surgeries that were sometimes botched on purpose just to see what would happen. Like there's one classic one where you know how you have an arch in your foot?
I have super flat feet, but yes, I do know.
Well, you see, the Nazis thought flat feet were fascinating. They would have loved you, Lindsay.
Oh God, you want to? I'm doing this because this is an audio podcast.
Are we about to get?
For the record,
Dude.
I'm about to
Is she about to show
my
feet?
foot.
She about to show
I'm
feet?
about to
My
show feet,
God.
but no one who's listening will know.
This is very strange. That's a
Wow.
flat fucking foot, dude.
Yeah.
You got a straight up club foot. And the term club foot, by the way, comes from the Nazi scientists who would
Hang on, I
intentionally.
should really turn off screen recording.
The Nazis liked to give people flat and club feet just to see what would happen, and it usually resulted in excruciating pain. Can you believe it? They would also do experiments where they would attempt at keeping living creatures alive through the use of bionics, and this always, every single time, resulted in excruciating pain and death. There is a classic, I hate to use the word, but a classic video of the head of a dog, and only the head, that was kept alive for a period of time using bionics, and it was clearly like panting and in pain, which is terrifying. Of course, they also administered hard drugs in the pursuit of mind control. And
They did that in the 1940s. They were able to keep a decapitated dog alive.
If I remember correctly, it was only for a few hours, but yes, they were.
Okay.
It is genuinely impressive, but also incredibly fucked up.
Yeah.
But the Nazis, general genocide-esque pursuits. So what do these two groups have in common? Any takers? 731 and the Nazi scientists? Anything that they have in common that you've noticed?
I mean,
Other than the fact that they're fucked up and access
Yeah.
powers.
Oh, that's actually correct. They are some of the most evil people to walk on planet Earth. That's right. Ding, ding, ding. The second thing about them that you might not know is that they were recruited by the OSS to come work in America after the war and were pardoned of all crimes during Operation Paperclip because Lindsay read ahead.
No, I remember this from the arcade cabinet episode.
Polybius, yes, and
Polybius, yeah, and I started reading about the paperclip stuff.
All right,
back
so that's
then.
why I don't remember it, because we talked about it on the podcast.
Rumor has it, by the way, and I don't actually know if this is true, but I've heard this before, that it was called Operation Paperclip because in the files that were being sent over to the OSS, there were specifically paperclips on those of people who would have to be pardoned for their war crimes. So they called it Operation Paperclip. But to get a little bit further into it, Operation Paperclip was a top secret operation executed by the OSS. If you don't know if you don't recognize this name, it's because it doesn't exist anymore. They were the Office of Strategic Services. They were one of the first modern espionage agencies, I mean. After the end of World War II, up until 1959, when they were disbanded, they brought over 1,600 Nazi German scientists, engineers, and technicians. They were escorted out of the country, away from the Nuremberg trials, and placed in the United States, given new identities, fake names, positions within the government. And to be clear, this was only Paperclip. When I'm talking about Operation Paperclip, that is only referring to the Nazi scientists who were brought over. Technically, Unit 731 had nothing to do with it, but that being said, members of 731 were not captured by the Soviets, because remember, most of them were captured by the Soviets and summarily executed. They were instead, the other ones, captured by the United States government and subsequently given immunity and jobs by the OSS between the years of 1945 and 1959, which were the same years as Operation Paperclip. But again, Paperclip only refers to the Nazi Germans. That is just a technicality.
All right, so the OSS, I just remembered where I've heard that from.
Mm-hmm.
That's the organization that Spy Kids are a part of.
That's hilarious.
Oh shit! Really?
I swear to God, look it up. They are called the OSS.
Does it stand for the Office of Strategic Services? Oh my God, it is. Look at that building. Holy
it's
shit.
Organization of Super Spies, Adrian.
Oh.
Don't bring that shit.
Oh, thank God. See, when you said that you recognized the name OSS because they were something else, I thought you may have been reading ahead, Adrian.
No, you didn't send me this.
Because I've not sent it to either of you, of course. But just remember that. Now, who are the OSS? Right? We don't hear about them very often. That's because the division no longer exists. The Office of Strategic Services was formed under FDR on June 13th, 1942, during World War II to really push America's espionage operations to the next level. Now, the OSS did its job very well, apparently, because they officially ceased operations in 1945. So they did their job so goddamn well that when the war ended, they were like, we won, we did it, let's go home. But without a world war happening, of course, the agency's primary purpose of conducting operations behind enemy lines became difficult to maintain because they did not have an enemy line to get behind. Because of this, the agency reformed under a new name, becoming a mainland organization working directly as a branch for the United States government. Can anybody guess?
NSA!
Not the NSA.
CIA?
Damn.
The Central Intelligence Agency.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes, the OSS technically disbanded, and then the CIA was formed, but it was formed with the same members of the OSS. Keep that in mind. Legally speaking, the OSS and the CIA are not the same group, but they are the same people.
Yeah, so they're, what's it called, Obsidian?
I'm sorry?
No. What's that gaming company that used to be the ones who made Fallout and then, like...
Oh, Blue Isle, I think?
Are they Blue Isle?
And because they got bought by Bethesda later. It's not the comparison you're looking for, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so the CIA legally is not the OSS, but effectively the CIA is the OSS. One of their last overseas operations was the initiation of Operation Paperclip, right? They pulled this off. And their last domestic operation set the stage for one of the most ethically bankrupt operations in the United States history. But before we can talk about that project, we have to have a second history lesson.
Oh, fuck.
History was my worst subject too, Adrian.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't feel as bad now.
So Have either of you heard of Project Edgewood?
Edgewood.
Edgewood.
No.
No.
In Maryland, there's an army base known as Edgewood Arsenal, where an event later known as the Edgewood Arsenal Human Experimentation, or Project Edgewood, occurred. From roughly 1948 to 1975, the United States Army Chemical Corps, an army organization that was founded after the OSS disbanded, by the way, they carried out human subject research on the soldiers stationed in Edgewood Arsenal. I want to be clear, the U.S. Army Chemical Corps is not the OSS. They are a branch of the Army that was formed after the disbanding of the OSS by many of the people who were in the OSS. Legally, the OSS and the United States Army Chemical Corps are not the same foundation, but they are the same people. That's going to be a theme, boys and girls. Now, human experimentation is something that we have talked about roughly 20 minutes ago, you see. But this one, I want to be clear, was not done on human subjects that were captured and prisoners of war. This was done on unwitting soldiers that worked for the same country that the group worked for.
Okay. So
Sounds like par for the course for the United States.
that's
Keep that in mind.
I feel
son.
like there's one expression in this world I want to perfect more than anything else. And it is how to do an impeccable Pikachu face.
The like startled Pikachu.
Yeah, like the one that everyone does when it's like water is wet kind of surprise.
Yeah. Mine's more the Wojak face, but yeah. Now, some of the human experimentation ranged from low doses of chemical weapons to testing experimental vaccines to taking a select few subjects to administer hard drugs, namely LSD, in order to conduct psychological experimentation. Here's a small list of various chemicals that subjects were subjected to. I'm going to read them in order. We had nerve agents. So let's go back to the Likert scale. How much you would want to be administered nerve agents, Lindsay?
Since I played Portal, I would never like to interact with nerve agents.
Okay, so let's actually drop the Likert scale. Let's go from 1 being absolutely not up to 5 being, yes, please give me it. Where would you range on being administered nerve agents?
A 0.
0. Interesting. Adrian, how about you?
I'm a masochist. I'm at 5.
That's fucked up. You might die.
I'm kidding. No, one.
Okay. Cool. Let's move on to the next one. Just various pesticides, just sprayed right on you. Just right on your bare fucking skin. Strip you down
never
naked.
Get bit by mosquitoes ever again?
No. See, these are the pesticides that are used to kill bugs and pests that are on crops. You remember that scene in the first Guardians of the Galaxy where they get stripped down naked at the prison and get sprayed with that like orange stuff? That's gonna be you. See,
I would have said 2 if it was stuff that would prevent me from getting bit by mosquitoes ever again, but because it's not that, it's a 1.
It'd probably hurt very badly. Adrian?
Yeah, I'll go 2.
2?
Sure.
Okay. It's not the worst.
No.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I say that as I'm being harassed by a gnat, by the way.
Well, you know what might take care of that gnat is if we release mustard gas into your apartment. How would you like mustard gas administered into your apartment?
Would it kill all the bugs, and would I be allowed to wear a gas mask?
You would not be allowed to wear a gas mask. It would definitely kill the bugs. And if you're not familiar with mustard gas, by the way, it is the predecessor to tear gas, where tear gas makes you like choke on your own like tears and spit, and is horribly painful. Mustard gas made you choke on your own blood, and instead of tears, it was blood, and instead of spit, it was blood, and instead of mucus, it was blood coming out from every orifice.
That's 7.
Okay, so you're into it. Cool.
Scale.
Now, I know you guys said, respectively, if I remember correctly, 0 and 1 to the nerve agents.
Yeah.
Now, there is a special thing called a nerve agent reactivator, which is when you've been struck by nerve agents, they stay in your body for a really long time. A reactivator, basically just at any time, it's like smell a little perfume in the air, just makes it happen again. Just when you're not expecting it.
Thing.
Yeah. You, Lindsay, said 0 to the nerve agents earlier. How would you feel about them being reactivated through a reactivator?
Well, if I've never actually had the nerve gas because I said 0, then also 0 just in case.
Fair answer, Adrian.
1.
1. Okay, you know, it's interesting that you have the same answers as the nerve agents because it is practically the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, LSD.
10.
Okay, that was quick. That was a 10 on a 1 to 5 scale, by the way.
I would say 1 on that one.
I'm just
Maybe
saying,
1.5.
the
Like,
beat-
just for a trip.
The Beatles were on LSD throughout the 60s, and they wrote some of the greatest music of all time.
Okay, so follow up,
Some
Adrian.
people talk about having, like, superhuman strength for like druggies who are on LSD and, like, cops can't take them down because they have, like, weirdly superhuman strength.
Similar to bath salts, of course. So on that thought, PCP. How you feeling about PCP?
Probably 1.5.
1.5. Okay, Adrian.
It's
PCP.
all the same thing. Like, if I get to have just enough to, like, give someone a run for their money in a fist fight because I'm 5'2" on a good day and probably would lose otherwise.
Adrian, PCP.
I'll be honest, I don't know what PCP is.
It's like LSD, but harder and more addictive.
Ooh.
I think.
Just because of the addictive 5.
Okay, interesting. So from a 10 to a 5.
I like how he makes the Massimeno thing with his hand as he does that.
Now I'm going to toss this one out here. I don't expect you to know what this one is, either of you, but BZ, a drug chemical known as BZ. How you feeling about BZ? You know what it is?
Do you know the actual name of it?
Yes, hold on. It is 3-quinylcladylene benzylate, also known as BZ. That's classified by NATO. Do you know what do you know what BZ is? Adrian, do you know what BZ is?
I've never heard of this.
Don't worry, we'll skip that one. We'll get back to it. Now, the last 3, remember, these are chemicals that are either forcibly injected or you're forcibly subjected to, or you're unwittingly subjected to. I'm just going to put all 3 of them together here. Remember all the past ones being nerve agents, LSD, mustard gas. I'm going to say alcohol, caffeine, and cannabinoids.
Oh, dude, that's me every single day.
Yeah, I mean, like, I do that willingly. That's not a big deal to me.
Yeah, see, the last ones are kind of lit, right? But the rest are pretty fucked.
Yeah.
I laughed very hard when I got to this part of the list. And I was like, holy shit. Because it was something like 14% of the people got into that camp. And it's like, my God, those people are like, dude, my time in the army fucking rules. Now, back to the shitty stuff. Apparently I'm Sean Connery. All victims of human experimentations conducted here were United States soldiers who were in the army willingly, but very, very few of them knew exactly what they were signing up for, right? They were told that Edgewood was for medical studies, not human experimentation, because why would they tell them that? It was believed that if they knew what they were being administered, then the results would be skewed, which is fair to say scientifically, but not too fair to say morally. In some cases, those commanding officers who did have an idea of what was happening over at Edgewood Arsenal would send soldiers that they particularly disliked there as a form of punishment. This is widely reported on happening, but was never once proven that they were sent there specifically because their commanding officer was like, fuck that guy, toss some goddamn LSD into him.
Well, I mean, how can you prove that?
Yeah, that was the problem.
Yeah. That's,
This sounds, this reminds me of a TV show that I watched once. It was an Amazon show that, like, the trailer kind of hooked me, but then you realize that this is basically the plot that you're describing, but it had a really boring, like, ending. I'm trying to remember what the fuck it was called.
So reading ahead, by the end of this, I will tell you that there is a quite boring ending as well here.
God dang it. I bet this show was like, what if we made this Edgewood?
I'm actually just watching the show right now and just reading off what I'm saying. Now, after Operation Paperclip, the OSS obtained 3 nerve gas agents from the Nazis, being Tabin, Soman, and Sarin, all of which would be great names for a character in D&D.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong.
Tabin, Soman, and Sarin. Great names. Not the point, though. All 3 of which would be studied and experimented on at Edgewood Arsenal, eventually being used on U.S. soldiers to see their reactions to the compounds. This led to the spiral of human experimentation that took place on site for nearly 3 decades. Now, the rationale for these unethical practices were stated by Luther Wilson Green, who is the technical director of the Chemical and Radiology Laboratories at Edgewood. Now, which of you two do you think has the better impression of the technical director of Chemical and Radiology Laboratories, Luther Wilson Green? Which one do you think can pull off Luther Wilson Green?
Lindsay?
I'm looking at you.
Adrian, would you please read these words in italics right here? This was the rationale from Luther Wilson Green for what they did at Project
Sure.
Edgewood.
The whole paragraph?
Yeah, just the italicized part.
Throughout recorded history, wars have been characterized by death, human misery, and the destruction of property. Each major conflict being more catastrophic than the one preceding it. I am convinced that it is possible, by means of the techniques of psychochemical warfare, to conquer an enemy without the wholesale killing of his people or the mass destruction of his property.
Wonderful, great words. So he seems to believe that the mass brainwashing followed by malicious coup and subjugation of a nation state is better than killing, as if that isn't equally heinous. He's basically saying that we could go to war and kill a bunch of soldiers and take over a country, or we can fuck their brains up, actively destroying the lives of everyone who lives there, and then make them a puppet state. I don't think it's much better. It seems like a real lateral move to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, over 30 years, roughly 7,000 soldiers and 1,000 volunteer civilians were subject to experimentation of over 254 chemical substances. Of those people, roughly 30% were exposed to incapacitating compounds and 14.5% to lethal compounds. So that's 14.5% of 8,000 unwitting people were subjected to lethal compounds. Disregarding ethics, much like the staff of Edgewood Arsenal did, of course, let's discuss the actual results of their experimentation. And now we're going to talk about the chemical I mentioned earlier, BZ. It is known by NATO as simply BZ because the name is incredibly hard to say. This chemical compound can incapacitate any human being, forcing loss of speech and basic motor control, as well as hallucinations. It is an odorless, bitter powder that can last for 2 months in moist air. It is stable in most solvents and can be dispersed through common munitions. So you can literally just fire a capsule of this stuff and it'll just sit in the air for 2 months. And if someone breathes it in, they will lose all motor control, they will lose all forms of speech, and they will have frightening hallucinations until they are either treated or die.
Damn.
So 1 to 5, administered BZ?
2.
2.
He's picking numbers.
I'm just picking random numbers. That's a 1.
Just gonna move on.
I remember the show, by the way, and by remembered, I mean I had to look it up. It was called Homecoming. It was a Julia Roberts Amazon original that was basically like returning veterans would come back and think they're going to like a honorable discharge retreat, but really they were being given psychoactive drugs that were meant to help erase their time in war so they could send them back.
Yeah, it sounds like
without
Project
having
Edgewood.
PTSD. Yeah.
Jeez.
Now, after 2 decades of under-the-table experimentation, the facility was made official and rebranded as the United States Army Medical Research Institute of Chemical Defenses, or the much easier to say USA MRICD. The experimentations were still conducted, by the way, in this new facility, but now with a slightly more public-facing light, which is how the civilians, the thousands of civilians, got involved as test subjects. In September of 1975, though, all civilian subjects were expelled, and the program was terminated when Director Van Murray Sim was called before Congress. The actual crime that was... The actual crime was that the program did not provide follow-up care to their human experimentation subjects. The crime was not the human experimentation. The crime was that they did not give them proper follow-up care.
That's kind of on par with the U.S., though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, while we're on the subject of on par for the U.S., eventually an internal investigation by the United States Army resulted in, quote, no evidence of serious injury, unquote, but did condemn the recruitment process.
Oh my god.
Well,
You mean there wasn't a recruitment
Yeah.
process? Like, hello?
Now, I did say earlier that the only information that we actually got from Project Edgewood, the only thing that came out of the research was really figuring out what BZ did to people. But that was a little bit of a lie, because there was one other concrete result of the Project Edgewood human experimentation. And that was...
That people liked weed.
No,
people like coffee.
no. It was inspiration.
Huh.
For next episode's topic, Project MK Ultra.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
It's going to be fucked up, dude.
I've only
I do
ever played.
remember. I read a lot about this because of the Polybius thing, so I will. I will try not to quote unquote read ahead.
And like I said, we talked about on the podcast. Therefore, I don't remember MK Ultra a lot. I have played Ultimate MK3.
Very similar.
Very similar. Okay,
It's not at all similar.
got it.
So we'll see you on part 2, where we discuss Project MK Ultra. See you there, you fucking weirdos.
Oh.